Imagine your veins are like rivers and your blood is like their waters, with lots of stories to tell. They actually let us know where we come from and explain to us why we get sick. These stories are already in the blood in our bodies and are written in language that doctors and scientists can understand. These stories are called DNA, and the stories come from both our mothers and fathers. They got the DNA stories from their mothers and fathers, who got it from their mothers and fathers. Because this has been going on for thousands of years, DNA stories can tell the story of a very, very big family. People share some of their stories with other people from the same area, even if they are not from the same family or clan. So when we look into the story of the DNA for a person, we also see a little part of the DNA story of their ancestors from thousands of years ago. Understanding the DNA stories can help scientists to understand more about why some families and communities have lots of people with diseases like diabetes and kidney problems, and other families have only a few. It can also help us understand why medicines work well for some people, but for other people they don't work or can even make them sick. Long time ago, small bits of blood called samples were taken from Aboriginal people in communities all over Australia. Right now, the samples are being kept at the Australian National University in Canberra. A mob called the National Centre for Indigenous Genomics, NCIG, are looking after them. This mob have a board with mostly Aboriginal people. They know it's important for us to know about our blood and our stories. They are not really sure how much those old people knew about giving their blood samples. So they think that their families should be able to decide now what to do with them. If you and your family decide that the samples should stay in the collection, the NCIG mob would get the DNA story out of the sample and read the story of the blood onto computers. The DNA stories from each sample will be put together with the stories from all around Australia to make a library. The stories in this library computer will have no names, only the DNA story and the community where the sample came from. Sometimes researchers, like doctors, who are looking to find out more about diseases might ask to look at some of the DNA stories. They will have to ask the NCIG mob first. If the NCIG mob think that their project could help Aboriginal people, they will let them read the story, only for that project. The NCIG mob are being very careful to make sure that Aboriginal people are in charge of decisions about who can read the stories and what they can read them for. You'll be able to see what the sample is being used for on an app on your mobile phone or computer, so you can say no anytime you want to using that app. This is a very new thing for everyone, but the NCIG mob want to make sure that the DNA stories can be used to help Aboriginal families and all Aboriginal people. Keeping these stories might be very important for all Aboriginal people. What do you mob think about that?